Progressive Christian Devotional, Taylor Swift, Folklore Edition. August is the second song in a mini trilogy that also encompasses Cardigan and Betty. Cardigan, the first in the trilogy, is written from the perspective of Betty, the one James cheated on. August is written from the perspective of the girl that James cheated on Betty with. What I appreciate about the trilogy is that the narrator of August is not villainized. It's so easy to treat the other girl or the other woman, even if she didn't know about the existing relationship, as a heartless villain whose name isn't worth mentioning or remembering. But Taylor Swift takes a slightly different route. While this other girl remains unnamed, the song does give voice to her heartbreak and sorrow. It's hard not to feel sorry for this unnamed girl who was discarded by James and ignored by Betty. To be sure, Betty, as a victim, doesn't owe the narrator anything. She certainly doesn't owe James anything. But I do think that she and the unnamed narrator have a lot in common. My devotional on Cardigan focused on the ways in which certain depictions of God, namely the God as defined by evangelical and fundamentalist Christianity, is the one who did us wrong and who needs to repent. Those of us who have been chewed up and spit out by evangelical/fundamentalist versions of God are victims. But surprisingly, we aren't the only victims. The God preached by evangelical and fundamentalist Christianity not only hurts those of us who were forced out of it for whatever reason, but it continues to destroy those who are unable, for whatever reason, to leave. I think of the queer evangelical Christian who knows within the deepest part of their soul that they are queer. And to be sure, they don't pretend to be straight, but they frame their queerness as a burden and a test to be endured. They believe that God doesn't want them to act on their queerness. It's still something to be ashamed of, a sin to be managed. They have internalized the homophobia of evangelical Christianity and deny themselves and often seek to deny other queer Christians the ability to live freely and authentically. Often these Christians don't recognize that they are in an unhealthy and abusive relationship with the God of fundamentalism. The God of evangelical and fundamentalist Christianity is like James and Taylor Swift's trilogy. This God, like James, uses people, makes them feel worthless and unimportant, and is unable to truly love. Prayer. For those leaving toxic forms of Christianity, know that you are loved, you are not the problem, and the problem is toxic theology.